Did you know that after the age of 60, the average person wakes up 5 times every night just to urinate? According to the European Association of Urology, EAU, more than 50% of older adults suffer from chronic nocturia, leading to insomnia, persistent fatigue, and a higher risk of heart rhythm disorders. Surprisingly, nighttime urination is not an inevitable consequence of aging. In most cases, it is directly linked to what you eat in the evening. Nocturia is not merely a sign of getting older. It is a wake-up call about nutrition. A single orange, a mixed fruit juice, or even a few pieces of seemingly harmless pineapple can lower urine pH, overstimulate the bladder, and keep you awake for hours. Yet uninterrupted sleep is the best natural medicine for your heart, brain, and mood. If you keep jumping out of bed at night, you lose that precious recovery. Rest assured. In this article, you'll find a simple, science-based roadmap for rebuilding your sleep, starting with the fruit on your plate. I will show you 1. 5 fruits you should start eating right now because they are bladder-friendly and promote deep sleep. 2. 5 fruits to avoid after 6 p.m. every day if you don't want bathroom urges to break up your night. 3. A detailed eating timetable that optimizes digestion and balances urine pH. I guarantee that every recommendation is backed by medical research, easy to apply at home, and costs next to nothing. With just a few small changes, you can end the vicious circle of nocturia and insomnia and greet each morning bursting with energy. Don't forget to stay until the end of the video so you won't miss any details. And please hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell on the Healthy Vitality channel to catch all our upcoming tips. Top 5 Foods to eat in the evening. 1 banana. Slip a banana into your 6:30 p.m. slot and you hand your bladder a night-off ticket. No more stumbling out of bed in the dark. A perfectly ripe banana is gently sweet with a pH of 5.6. 5. Far easier on the stomach than acidic fruits. Its generous potassium content helps the kidneys balance water and salt, easing that overfull feeling that triggers bladder signals. Potassium also lets the intestines regulate sodium, so your body is less likely to activate its nighttime water excretion mode. Beyond that, bananas supply tryptophan, the raw material for serotonin, and then melatonin. Eaten around 6-7 p.m., melatonin has time to rise before bed, while the bladder's sphincter muscle relaxes, putting both your nervous system and urinary tract into night mode. 1 medium banana, approximately 120 g, is just right. Eat it as is to keep all the pectin fiber that keeps bowels moving smoothly and prevents constipation, an indirect cause of pelvic pressure. Want to change? Blend the banana with 120 ml of unsweetened almond milk. Almond milk is virtually caffeine-free and low in protein, so it won't act as a diuretic, while the banana provides natural sweetness and a gentle glucose rise that won't leave you jittery at midnight. Avoid very cold bananas. Low temperature slows digestive enzymes and can cause bloating. Choose a banana that is just ripe, bright yellow peel with light speckles. Green bananas still contain tannins that may cause gas. Overripe bananas are high in free sugars, which spike insulin and then crash, making you thirsty at night. If you take an afternoon diuretic, ask your doctor about shifting the dose earlier and add a 6 p.m. banana to replace lost potassium without supplements. Diabetics can relax. A just-ripe banana has a moderate GI, and pairing it with almond milk and a pinch of cinnamon flattens the glucose curve even more. After about 7 nights on the 6:30 p.m. banana routine, many people report nighttime trips dropping to 1 or none at all, waking refreshed, with calf cramps gone thanks to steady potassium and a brighter mood as melatonin-serotonin pathways run smoothly. 2 papaya. Fully ripe, golden papaya is gently alkaline, pH around 6.7, the opposite of acidic fruits that can irritate the stomach. Once papaya reaches your stomach, its native enzyme papain starts cutting partially digested dinner proteins, preventing sluggish fermentation. As the intestines deflate, pressure on the bladder eases and those nighttime urges fade. Papain also calms the intestinal lining and reduces gas, so you are less likely to toss and turn with bloating at 2 or 3 a.m. Just 150-200 g, a thick finger-sized block, taken an hour after dinner, is enough without raising blood sugar so early that you get thirsty later. The best plate of papaya comes from fruit that is just ripe, skin turning orange yellow while the flesh is still firm. Dice it, squeeze on a few drops of lime. Its mild acidity only brightens the sweetness without triggering acid, and sprinkle on a half teaspoon of chia seeds that have soaked 10 minutes. The chia gel holds water, slowing papaya sugar release, while omega-3s glide to vessel walls that feed the bladder. The light pudding-like texture slips down smoothly, avoiding reflux. Papaya's glycemic index is moderate low, and the chia gel flattens it further, so by 11 p.m. you stay asleep instead of waking up parched. Skip green papaya. The strong latex and high tannin can cause distension, and avoid oversoft fruit with black speckles. Its free sugars ferment quickly, creating gas that presses on the bladder. Choose a newly ripe fruit with a gentle aroma and no weeping cut surfaces. Store any leftovers in a sealed container in the fridge for no more than 24 hours so papain stays active. Diabetics or carb counters can lower the portion to 100 g and add another half teaspoon of chia. The glucose flattening effect remains. Once you're comfortable, upgrade the routine. Blend papaya, lime, chia, and a few mint leaves into a chilled cold soup and sip it 90 minutes before lights out. Mint's coolness relaxes the bladder sphincter, papain keeps clearing gas, chia locks in water. The trio is a perfect 3-in-1 formula for those taking afternoon diuretics. If you're on antibiotics, papain aids digestion and helps prevent nighttime diarrhea. People with a history of kidney stones can relax. Papaya is virtually oxalate-free, so it fits safely into an anti-nocturia plan. After roughly 7 nights of the 9 p.m. papaya ritual, many report sleeping straight through, waking light-bellied and clear-headed because they haven't lost sleep. Calf cramps diminish as papaya's natural potassium balances body fluids. 3 pair. Want to turn off the tap on your bladder without medication? Try a crisp pear in the late afternoon. Its gentle sweetness is more powerful than you'd expect. A ripe pear has a pH of about 6, stomach-friendly and unlikely to trigger nighttime thirst. 1 medium fruit, approximately 150 g, delivers roughly 3 g of soluble fiber plus sorbitol, a sugar alcohol that is both mild and stool-softening. Eaten around 5-6 p.m., the sorbitol draws water into the intestines, softening the dinner bolus and prompting a bowel movement that same evening. With the abdomen flatter, pelvic pressure drops, the bladder is less compressed, and wake-up signals become far less frequent. The fiber gel also envelops dinner starches, slowing sugar absorption so you don't feel thirsty or guzzle water that would distend the bladder. Meanwhile, the pear's natural potassium balances sodium, sparing the kidneys a midnight overtime shift to shed excess fluid. Enjoy it simply. Wash well, leave the thin skin on. It holds most of the insoluble fiber and bladder-friendly quercetin, then slice or dice. For a new twist, toss the pieces with a few chopped cilantro leaves and 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Cilantro tames the light tannin note, and honey sweetens without spiking blood sugar. Your mouth feels refreshed afterward, and the urge for cold water, another nighttime trip trigger, fades. Avoid pears that have been long frozen. Extreme cold crystallizes sorbitol, softens the fiber, and promotes fermentation during thawing, creating gas that presses on the bladder. If you must buy cold storage fruit, let it breathe at room temperature for 1-2 hours so the cells rehydrate before eating. Anyone prone to gas can dust the slices with a little warming cinnamon. It adds fragrance and reins in sugar-fermenting microbes. After a week of the 5 p.m. pear routine, many people report waking at most once, or even sleeping straight through. No abdominal rumbling, better hydrated skin, and a noticeably clearer head in the morning. 4 watermelon. When the sun is blazing, A juicy slice of watermelon does more than quench thirst. It quietly puts your bladder into sleep mode, sparing you those nighttime shuffles to the bathroom. Watermelon is refreshing with a pH of about 5.25/6, so it doesn't raise stomach acid. Just 150 g supplies lycopene, the red antioxidant pigment that forms a soothing cushion over the ureter lining, reducing irritation so urge signals to the brain become far less frequent. Lycopene also exerts mild anti-inflammatory effects, allowing an inflamed bladder to stretch more easily if tiny stones are present. In addition, watermelon delivers citrulline, an amino acid that converts to nitric oxide. This widens renal blood vessels, optimizing daytime filtration so the body expels most fluid before nightfall. Absolute rule: eat it before 2 p.m. The long stretch of daylight lets the kidneys and bladder process the fruit's high water load. Watermelon is 92% water, without pushing it into the night. Watermelon after dinner is a double hit of water plus natural sugar that spikes insulin, triggers thirst, and overloads the bladder. Cut 3 or 4 cubes and eat them alone so the fruit slips quickly through the stomach. Don't mix with apples or grapes in a fruit salad. Fermenting sugars create gas that adds pelvic pressure. Temperature matters too. Chunks chilled below 5 degrees C make stomach vessels constrict, food lingers, and the persistent full of water feeling can lead to cold-induced bladder spasms. Store at 8-10 degrees C, then let sit 5 minutes before eating. If you have a melon, wrap it tightly and set the cut face down so lycopene isn't bleached by light. People with diabetes or on low-carb plans needn't worry. 150 g contains only about 10 g of sugar, and the accompanying water and electrolytes temper the glucose rise. Taurine plus potassium helps steady heart rhythm and reduce ankle swelling, an indirect factor that can otherwise push fluid toward the bladder. For those taking a morning diuretic, a slice at 1 p.m. replaces lost potassium without adding nighttime water burden. After 1 week of the midday watermelon ritual, many report waking just once, or even sleeping straight through. Puffy eyelids shrink, and daytime urgency eases as lycopene shields the urinary lining. 5. Guava. Before you open the medicine cabinet, try tapping on a crisp guava late in the afternoon. This discreet gatekeeper can let you sleep straight through to morning, no more fumbling for the light switch at midnight. A just-ripe guava, about 100 g, has a pH of 5.7, gentle on the stomach yet packed with anti-inflammatory polyphenols and vitamin C, many times the content of an orange but with very little acidity. Together they act like shock absorbers for the urinary tract. Polyphenols calm an irritated bladder wall, while the soft vitamin C quietly discourages bacteria without triggering late-night thirst. The fruit also delivers about 3 g of soluble fiber, mainly pectin, and a touch of natural sorbitol. Eaten at 5-6 p.m., the pectin soaks up water and swells like a sponge, making the stomach feel full and unconsciously curbing fluid intake afterward. Sorbitol keeps the bowels smooth, prompting an early stool so the pelvis feels light and the bladder isn't squeezed. Guava's potassium balances sodium, sparing the kidneys an overtime shift to dump water. How to enjoy it? Rinse well, let dry, then bite right through the skin. The thin peel holds most of the pectin and bladder-friendly quercetin. Quarter or dice the flesh and toss with a little chopped cilantro and 1 teaspoon of raw honey. The herb tames the faint astringency, and the honey adds sweetness without spiking blood sugar. That cool, refreshing plate keeps you from craving cold water, the usual trigger for nocturnal trips. Avoid overripe guavas, high fructose, insulin spikes, thirst, and rock-hard green ones, tannin overload, constipation, gas. The sweet spot is a fruit just turning yellow, lightly fragrant, firm in the hand. Refrigerate if you like, but don't set it against the ice box wall. The chill ruins pectin's water-holding power and saps the crunch. Diabetics can relax. 8-9 g of natural sugar come with fiber, so blood glucose rises only slightly. Guava's potassium also replaces what you lose with an afternoon diuretic. After roughly 10 days of the late afternoon guava ritual, many people report unbroken sleep, less puffy eyes, and morning energy because liver and kidneys finally get a night off. Calf cramps ease thanks to steady potassium, and skin feels less dry as vitamin C quietly forges collagen while you sleep. Here are 5 fruits you must steer clear of after 6 p.m. to protect an unbroken night's sleep. 1. The citrus family. Oranges, tangerines, and grapefruit may boost immunity, but their citric acid content, 0.51%, pushes urine pH down toward 5.0. That extra acidity makes the bladder lining sting and sends repeated gotta-go signals to the brain in the middle of the night. A mild daytime burning is merely annoying. At night, it becomes a string of awakenings, each one making it harder to drop back into deep sleep. Because citric acid is not neutralized quickly, even drinking plain water at bedtime only expands urine volume while the acidity persists, leaving the bladder both stretched and irritated, and forcing you up at 1 or 2 a.m. The simple fix. Move all your citrus portions to before 2 p.m. The remaining daylight gives the kidneys time to filter and the body to rebalance acid base levels, flushing most of that acid long before you slip under the covers. If you still want fruit after your evening meal, swap in a just right pear, mildly alkaline, rich in sorbitol to keep the bowels moving, and loaded with potassium to ease bladder pressure rather than provoke it like citrus. Craving the occasional tart kick? Sip a very dilute warm water lemon drink in the morning. Warm water primes the stomach, and the tiny acid load is too low to bother the urinary tract while gently waking digestion. Under no circumstances finish the day with bottled orange juice or a sweet tangerine segment at 9-10 p.m. The simple sugars spike insulin, making you thirsty, and let the acid linger. An ironclad recipe for repeated nocturnal bathroom trips. Remember, an unbroken 6-7 hour sleep stretch is the best repair crew for heart, brain, and skin. Each bladder-triggered awakening cuts that repair cycle short. Keeping citrus strictly to daytime hours is the first and easiest step to locking your bladder into night rest mode. 2 pineapples. That extra slice of pineapple after dinner may taste sweet, yet it quietly sounds the alarm that yanks you out of sleep in the middle of the night. Pineapple contains 0.4% bromelain, an enzyme famous for aiding digestion, but also for making the intestinal wall contract more vigorously than usual. When your gut keeps squeezing to push food along, pressure rises in the lower pelvis, as if you're pressing a hand against the bladder. The result? A late pineapple smoothie can leave your bladder feeling full and heavy by 11 p.m. and have you groping for the light switch at 2 or 3 in the morning. Eat pineapple on top of an already full dinner, and the effect is worse. A stuffed stomach triggers stronger peristaltic waves, bromelain pours oil on the fire, and the churn plus urge to urinate repeat again and again. Worse still, pineapple is quite sweet, so blood glucose shoots up quickly. Your body dilutes the sugar by pulling in water, making you thirsty, so you drink more and accidentally assign your bladder an unwanted night shift. If the goal is uninterrupted sleep, drop pineapple after 4 p.m. Or better yet, swap it for a ripe papaya. Papain is gentler, lightens the stomach without strong intestinal contractions, contains less sugar and moderate water, and is far less likely to distend the bladder. Remember, your bladder needs quiet time at night for the brain to reach deep sleep. Any fruit that revs up intestinal activity becomes a wake-up trigger. 3. Grapes. A shiny bowl of fresh grapes may be your favorite snack, but that innocent sweetness can secretly booby-trap your night, sending you to the bathroom again and again. Grapes are loaded with simple sugars, glucose and fructose, that shoot straight into the bloodstream, spike insulin, then crash quickly. Your body responds with thirst to rebalance. You take a few sips of water, and your bladder is suddenly on the night shift. The grape skins are rich in tough cellulose that the small intestine can't break down. Once in the colon, surplus sugar plus cellulose ferment under gut bacteria. Gas builds, your abdomen bloats, and pressure pushes downward into the pelvis. A bladder that hoped to rest is squeezed instead, firing off constant time to empty signals and deep sleep fragments into short segments. If you like to nibble chilled grapes, the trouble worsens. Deep cold makes stomach vessels constrict, food lingers longer, fermentation drags on, more gas forms, and the low temperature itself provokes bladder spasms, bringing the urge to pee even sooner. The fix: switch your late afternoon snack to a just-right banana or a crisp pear. Banana delivers potassium to balance fluids, rarely triggers thirst, and supplies tryptophan for easier sleep. Pear's gentle sorbitol keeps bowels moving without gas. Still miss grapes? Peel and seed a small portion and eat it before 3 p.m. so the sugars burn off during daytime activity. Skip the ice bath. Room temperature fruit is far kinder to the bladder. Waking for the bathroom not only leaves you groggy next morning, but also raises the risk of nighttime falls. Removing late evening grapes from your menu is a simple yet powerful step toward an unbroken night's sleep. 4. Mixed fruit juice. A rainbow glass of multi-fruit juice may look gorgeous, yet it can be the very culprit that has you running to the bathroom at night. The concentrated sugar and acid inside are like a siren for your bladder. Mixed juice, pressed from several fruits, packs fast-absorbing sugars that send blood glucose soaring and then plunging. Your body reacts with thirst, you drink more water, and the bladder fills even faster. Worse, stripped of fiber's break, the fruit acids keep their full bite, lowering urine pH, making the bladder lining burn and fire urgent, empty now signals. Down a 250 ml glass in the late afternoon, and come midnight you'll feel it. A gentle abdominal churn, a dry mouth, and soon the shuffle to the bathroom. Repeated trips fragment sleep, leaving you groggy with blood pressure prone to swings, and they raise the risk of stumbling in the dark. The fix is simple: swap that dense juice for whole fruit. Fiber slows sugar release, leaving you satisfied but not thirsty, or choose a cup of warm, unsweetened herbal tea, which soothes the stomach without adding acid. If you can't quit juice entirely, pour a small serving, sip slowly, and hold each mouthful in your mouth for a few seconds so salivary amylase starts breaking down the sugars on the spot. The glucose rise will be far gentler, easing thirst and the need for extra water. 5. Raw tomatoes. A cool tomato-cucumber salad might seem perfectly healthy, yet it can secretly jolt your bladder awake at 2 a.m. Raw tomatoes contain a fair amount of oxalic acid, approximately 0.307%. Inside the body, it readily binds minerals, forming tiny, sand-like crystals in the urinary tract. Those grains scrape the bladder wall, sending constant discomfort signals to the brain, so just as you nod off you're forced to dash to the bathroom. Even before sand forms, the tomato's natural acidity can irritate the bladder lining, causing burning and repeated urges to void. Add water-rich cucumber to the same salad, and you flood the system with extra fluid, filling the bladder faster. Result: a fitful night of broken sleep. The easy fix: eat tomatoes cooked. Heat destroys most oxalic acid and even boosts lycopene absorption. An evening bowl of tomato soup with egg or lean meat won't provoke nocturia and still supplies antioxidants. If you insist on raw tomato, shift it to lunchtime and limit yourself to a small one. Then skip the cucumber and don't chug water right afterward. Anyone with a history of kidney stones should definitely avoid raw tomatoes at night, because those microcrystals can become the seeds of larger stones. Dropping the habit of nibbling raw tomatoes after dinner lets your bladder turn off the lights on time, giving you uninterrupted deep sleep and a morning free of fatigue from nighttime bathroom runs. Now let me lay out the nutrition strategy and EATING schedule that will give you the best sleep possible. Jot everything down carefully. If you've already chosen the right fruits versus wrong fruits, yet are still up at night, chances are you haven't arranged them within the golden time slots. A scientific timetable will turn fruit into an ally, not a sleep wrecker. Picture a 7-day grid with 3 fixed windows: 6-8 a.m., 12:2 p.m., and 5:7 p.m. In each window, take one single fruit serving. Never stack multiple portions, and there's sugar and fluid in the same slot. Monday, 7 a.m., 150 g watermelon to rehydrate after the long night. 12 p.m., 100 g peeled grapes, early so the sugar is burned off. 6 p.m., 1 just ripe banana for potassium and tryptophan. Tuesday, swap watermelon for 1 guava, grapes for 150 g papaya, banana for 100 g crisp pear at the same respective times. Keep rotating the 5 sleep-friendly fruits through the week. You'll cover all vitamins without dumping extra work on the bladder at night. Too busy? Rely on 2 lightning recipes. 1. Banana papaya smoothie. A half banana plus 100 g papaya plus 100 ml water. Blend 30s, perfect for a hot weather midday snack. 2 pear cilantro salad. 1 diced pear plus pinch of chopped cilantro plus 1 tsp raw honey. Schedule it at 5 p.m. Fragrant, minimal free water, easy on the bladder. My personal trick: wash, prep, and box fruits ahead of time using color-coded lids. Green for morning, yellow for noon, red for evening, so you never mix them up. Alongside, keep a 3-column diary. Time eaten, fruit, number of nighttime bathroom trips. After just 1 week, you'll watch the notes drop from up 3 times to once, or even slept straight through. And whenever fine-tuning is needed, you'll know exactly which link in the chain to change. A good night's sleep starts with what's on your fruit plate. You don't have to rely on sedatives or bladder-relaxing drugs. Swap 1 piece of fruit or shift it to a different time slot, and you've rewritten the whole script of the night. The body is smart and self-healing. Your only job is to give it the right fuel at the right moment. If you were up 3 times last night, try today's lineup. A 6:30 p.m. banana, 9 p.m. papaya, or 5 p.m. pear. Watch and record. Did your wake-ups drop? Is the midnight gurgling gone? Are your eyelids less puffy this morning? Every small improvement is a big step toward drug-free deep sleep. Now I'd love to hear your story. Which fruit helped you sleep through the night? Share in the comments so our community can learn together. If this video helped you, please like and share it with anyone suffering from Nocturia. And of course, subscribe to Healthy Vitality and hit the bell. We'll be back with more golden tips to keep you healthy, sleeping soundly, and waking up bursting with energy every day.